Hi, this is Phil Landers, designated broker at Keller Williams Real Estate Company. Today we're going to have career conversations with Phil where we're going to showcase our top agents. We're going to be learning about their systems, their strategies, and their mindsets on building big businesses. We're changing lives and living the dream. Welcome to this edition of Career Conversations with Phil. Today, my featured guest is Pete Young.
Hello, Phil.
Hey, Pete. How we doing? Let's just jump right in. Pete, before real estate, what were you doing?
Right before real estate, I was a high school math teacher. I taught Algebra 2 and pre-calculus at Northwest Rankin High School for 3 years.
I love math. It's my favorite subject.
Yep.
Numbers always add up.
We got several old teachers around Keller Williams.
So you said Northwest Rankin?
Yep.
And for 4 years?
3 years.
3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what made you want to have a career in real estate?
Real estate's been something I've always, my entire life been interested in. But I guess it really was a God thing.
Okay.
During my last year of teaching, I really felt like God put a call on my life to give financially in a large way to missions and to doing good for His kingdom. And as a teacher, that's not really a possibility. You just
Right.
You're very limited on that. And real estate was a way to do that, to be able to actually make money, but not really for my own selfish gain, but to be able to help people.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so why Keller Williams?
When I got licensed, I was looking for, I was researching companies, and I came across Keller Williams online. I'd never heard of Keller Williams, never had heard of Keller Williams. And everything I kept coming up, did different kinds of searches. I'm not sure what my keywords were or anything, but Keller Williams kept coming up. And the thing that impressed upon me most was the training, because I had been a teacher. I'd never sold real estate. Right. The only transaction I'd ever been involved in was buying my own home. And the training, there was no other option for training. It's like Keller Williams is the best training company. And then the thing that sealed it for me was that the company's values were God, family, then business.
Right.
So I didn't even interview or talk to another real estate company. I was sold.
Very good.
Even before I met you.
Well, I'm glad you were sold before you met me, because it might have
turned it the other way.
Might have turned the deal. So let's talk a little bit about your production.
Yeah.
First off, how long have you been with Keller Williams?
So I got my license in October of 2012.
2012.
So I guess my start date was November 1 of 2012. So I'm nearing the end of my 7th year.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Been here 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Has it been an easy ride?
No. Not even now is it easy.
Tell me more about
easy.
that.
So getting out of the gate, starting, coming from teaching into real estate, and I jumped straight in. Like I wasn't a dual career agent.
Gotcha.
I was full-time real estate from the beginning. I actually made less in real estate my first year than I did teaching. Okay. Probably about half. Income
wow,
took a
that
hit.
must have been a challenge for you.
It was a challenge. It was. But looking back at it, it was all my fault. It wasn't that, anybody set me up for failure. But my next year I doubled and, close to double. And, for the last several years, been doing, in my opinion, quite well.
Very nice.
Yeah. But it's still a struggle. Right. Just because we're doing well doesn't mean it's not easy.
So your first year, because we have a lot of agents that are changing and getting a career in real estate, what were your major challenges?
Really in here, in between my ears, just self-doubt, fear, fear of rejection.
Right.
That was probably the thing that held me back the most.
Okay. Yeah. How did you overcome that fear of rejection?
Just looking at my family and saying they got to eat. We've got to do it. And why am I here? Why did I even do this? The reason I got into this was to make money, and I'm making less money than I did in teaching. So what the heck am I doing?
Yeah.
and, saying, we're going to do this.
So your motivation was strong.
Yeah.
And you're saying, hey, we're going to do this. This
Right.
is something I feel like you told me that you felt like you needed to do this. God called you to this.
Right.
And so you need to do this. And we were in alignment with our value proposition, God, family, business.
Right.
And so you just have this underpinning foundation that says, this is where I'm supposed to be. Now I've got to figure it out.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and you said you made less money the first year. And you said it was because of you, what's between your ears.
Right.
And so how did you work on that mindset? What things did you do to improve that?
Just doing it. And I think anybody will tell you just the nature of being in real estate. The longer you're in it, the more established you become.
Right.
Not that the easier it becomes, but the more likely people are to do business with you.
Right.
I think that helped a lot. But really, it's just I have got to put myself out there and not view myself as this young guy, not view myself as this newbie, but fake it till you make it type thing.
Right. I've heard that before, fake it till you make it. So are you telling me that from your perspective at that time that you had this stigma that you felt like you were young, you felt like you were inexperienced, and that was a hindrance for you being successful in this business?
100%.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, you're a very smart guy. I mean, a teacher, knowing math. Yeah, I know you do. Knowing math and things like that, it seems to me that you would have been a natural.
Right.
And teachers stand up in front of people all day long and teach. So from my perspective, you should be a natural.
Well, it's a little bit different when you're teaching in front of, high school students.
Right.
You are the authority. You're the adult.
That's a tough crowd, though.
You're the adult, and, so I've gone from, where it is a tough crowd, but talking to, 14, 15 up to 18-year-old kids.
Right.
To now I'm trying to convince this, 50-year-old person to trust me. And at that time, I'm 35 now, so I was 28 or so.
So what would you tell some of our new agents that may have that same little mindset that, hey, I'm new in this business, or I'm young and I'm going after, a clientele that's older than me? What would you tell them?
That's garbage. It's a lie.
It's a lie.
It's a lie. It's a lie. The enemy trying to keep you from succeeding, from doing what you can do, what you're supposed to do. It's a lie. People, it's funny. I remember there was a Keller Williams magazine production I saw, and on the cover was this kid. He was a kid. He was 21 years old, and he was selling like $10 million a year. And I'm like, if this guy can do it,
that's right.
Why the heck can I not?
Right.
So.
Right. So it's a lie. Yeah. Now, that might be encouraging to tell yourself it's a lie.
Right.
And there has to be some practical step that you can take to move past that. What kind of activities did you do or start doing that led to this tremendous success, this path that you're on right now? Because there's activities that we have to do to become successful, right?
Well, get past that fear of no, that fear of rejection, getting past that and realizing that no, I can't remember who it was, but it's been said at several team meetings or things. It was like somebody realized I got to go through 20 no's to get to that yes.
Right.
And just realize, okay, no doesn't mean, oh, woe is me, the world is over. Just get to that next yes.
Right.
And just mentally making that switch mentally that it's not.
And so I don't know. I remember when I first got in real estate as well, I left a different industry to come in. And at open houses, and you've got lots of people coming in, my mindset shifted into these are all prospective clients. And so I'm trying to weed through them. And I know that I had to make the mental shift that says, not every one of these people are going to be in the need of having a realtor right now. Right. They may not be selling right now. They may not be buying right now, but they will in the future. And so I made a mental shift where instead of trying to convert them today, I was working on a relationship for the future. Right. Did you have to make a similar shift?
Yeah, I think, that was important to kind of realize that. And I think that's also part of the reason it takes you a while to build your real estate business. If you do continue to work those relationships, your first year in, not everybody you're talking to is going to be ready to buy or sell that year. But they're, the next 3 years, 5 years, that you're doing in the first few months, the first year, you'll reap that reward, that benefit in years to come.
Right. Now, Gary wrote a book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and he's got this little triangle in there, and the foundation of that triangle is called leads. So do you have a database?
I do.
Okay. And so what do you do for your lead generation just to be able to add to that database, or how are you touching the database?
My main part of my business and with my database is work in my sphere. And I've stolen this from, I guess, probably Mega Camp a couple of years ago, or the first Mega Camp I went to. I've been doing this lately, is having client appreciation events, sphere of influence events, quarterly, inviting people. And it's not like, hey, let me help you buy or sell a house. It's more like, hey, Pete Young, your friend Lee, Keller Williams, realtor. What did we do? The most recent thing we did was we did a Mother's Day event where, we provided cupcakes for Mother's Day. Give your mother some cupcakes on us. That's kind of the thing I'm doing now with my database, is surrounding all my touches around those type things.
Right. And do you believe, and that's the old traditional way with the old database that we have, and we're shifting into command, right? And command, we know, is going to create really a, what's the word I'm looking for, Pete? A platform that's going to brand you. It's going to look kind of like the Netflix deal. Every time they log in, they're going to get a local insight that they could be, hey, there's a new restaurant, and you're going to be branded to your database. So there's going to be a lot more touches that you're not even aware potentially that's happening to your clients. So,
automated touches.
Automated touches. Now, I'm not saying that you do away from cupcakes.
No,
you still need to do those quarterly appreciation.
We like
events.
cupcakes.
Yeah, I do too. So let's shift over. So you time block.
I went to Bold yesterday, and I'm getting rid of the word try.
Okay.
But
there is no try.
I intend to time
Very
block.
nice. I like that.
That is a growth opportunity for me. That literally, from the first step, walking away from Bold yesterday, and every time I've been to Bold, that's the thing that I come away from saying I have to do better about, is time blocking. And I called Jade, my wife, as I was leaving Bold, and I said, we've got to do it. We've got to do it in our personal lives and our real estate lives, so that the most important things get done. Right.
Yeah. And so you recognize, and you said this is a repeating thing.
Yes, it is repeating.
So what's going to be different this time than last time? Now I'm slipping into a coach kind
of. Hey, honey, I know you're going to be watching this. I think the difference is going to be hers, having that family support, and she's now part of my business, and having that buy-in from her, because she's the most important person in my life.
Very nice.
And that's having her buy-in and her support and her accountability to it.
So let's talk about that just for a second. What does that mean to you to be able to bring her home and for you guys to be able to work together?
It's awesome. It's great. The fact that, she was a teacher as well, though not everybody might not know that. She taught for 9 years at the deaf school, Mississippi School for the Deaf. The fact that she's able to work with me and be with me, I would say 8 hours a day, but that's a joke, 10 hours a day that she was at that school.
Right.
And actually to be with me and to work with me and us to grow our business together, it's pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome.
That's pretty awesome. It's also, some people say, I wouldn't want to work with my spouse. For us, we really like each other.
Sure.
We enjoy spending time together. But also she holds me accountable. It's painful at times.
I'm hearing a lot that you are pushing this down to Jade to hold you accountable for time.
I'm not pushing it on to her. It's almost cyclical. It's like I'm holding her accountable to hold me accountable. We're going to hold one another accountable.
Right.
It's...
So let's talk about your business just for a second. And let's talk about your structure, because that's the deal. Do you have different duties that she's responsible for and duties you're responsible for? Or
yes.
How does that work? Okay.
Yes.
So whatever's in her bucket, you don't try to get in that bucket. You may hold her accountable to do that thing, and she holds you accountable.
There is no try, Phil.
Okay, gotcha. For you, it may be a try.
But I do try. I do try. I overstepped, and that's another thing I took from yesterday at Bold as well was, it's funny. Shout out to Casey Holcomb. She put herself out there yesterday, and she talked about how she realized she has to let go of things in her business so that, she can have more time to do the things she needs to do instead of the stuff that she's just trying to control.
Right.
I'm the same way. And so there are things that Jade needs to be doing and that we need to leverage out to someone else to do that I have for 7 years been, I do it better. And as long as it gets done,
right,
it's going to be fine. So
right.
To come back to answer your question, or at least what I think your question was, yes, we intend to have separate responsibilities,
right,
because she's technically in the position of an executive assistant right now, and her to do those executive assistant position duties, and I to do the lead agent duties.
Right.
Two separate things.
So you intend to time block more.
That's right.
You have a database.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use scripts?
I do, not at a very high level,
Okay.
But I do use some scripts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have they been beneficial to help you get the deal when you need to get the deal, to overcome an objection, in other words?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have been.
So I've heard you. So we talked about your production. And would you be surprised to know that your production is up 49.2% this year from last year?
I'm not surprised. Well, if I go back in time a year ago, I probably would be surprised.
Right.
But I do track my numbers.
Right.
Most anybody who's close to me knows that I track my numbers, and I have a nice spreadsheet where I keep up of everything. So I knew I was around 45% up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you realize that the market has shifted about 20%?
Yes.
And yet your business is up 49%. What activities are you doing that's driving that production? Are you doing things differently, or are you just doing them better?
I'm just focused more on my business than I have previously.
What does that focus look like?
Focused on the relationships with my sphere.
Okay.
Focused on past clients. My business is largely just referral based. Referral from my sphere, referral from past clients. And honestly, a good bit this year actually referrals from other agents, and it's agents outside of the Jackson metro area. I've had, in significant, I'm going to say, goodness, at least 5 or 6 pieces of business this year referred to me from agents not here in Jackson.
Keller Williams agents?
Yeah, Keller Williams agents.
How did you get that referral? Was it because you met them at a mega camp, or met them at a regional training? Or
let's see. Just I've met them being active in some Facebook groups, some Keller Williams referral groups on Facebook. Mm-hmm. That's been a big part of that.
Gotcha.
Vein of my business, yeah.
Right. So I know that you're investing in yourself. You brought up Bold multiple times. What has Bold done for your life?
It just gets you out of whatever mental funk you're in. To me, that's the thing it's done for me. Whatever, it helps you realize where you've become complacent.
Right.
I think that's what it's done for me.
Do you think everyone that's a realtor here needs to be taking?
I think if you've not taken Bold, you need to take Bold. And if you have taken it, I've taken it 3 times.
Very nice.
I'm not actually taking the course this time just because I have personal things that are preventing me from doing it. But I did go to step 1, and honestly, it was refreshing. I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
But I definitely do think agents should take Bold.
Okay, so what's preventing you from being able to continue owning Bold? I know you just said you had personal things.
Yeah, Jade's had surgery. We've got stuff going on with that, just personal stuff.
Is there anything that we can help you, support you with, that would allow you to be able to do that if it's important to you?
At this point in time, no.
Okay.
Nothing that I can think of.
Good. Okay, perfect. And you've been to Mega Camp or Family Reunion?
I've been to Mega Camp twice.
Right.
I've been to Family Reunion 4 times.
Wow, very nice.
I think so.
So do you think that investing in those kind of activities has helped you increase your business?
Yeah, I do. Every time, if you can take one thing away from any of those events, and not only take it away, but implement it into your business, then it's a no-brainer.
Gotcha. So, and that's what I found too. They've said, hey, Phil, going to Mega Camp, going to Family Reunion is a life-changing event. Right. And I would go, really? Life-changing? Right. And like you just said, if there's one thing you could take away, you could literally change your trajectory in your career that would have a positive effect on your life and your family and your future earnings. Yeah. So do you currently have a MAPS coach?
I do not.
Okay. Have you ever considered having one?
After watching Michael Manuel's podcast with you, I thought about it briefly.
Okay.
Yep.
So what's holding you back from that?
I'm not sure at this point.
Okay. So do you believe it would be a good investment and you would grow your business if you did that?
Well, if I 100% believe that, then I wouldn't be on the fence about it at this
Gotcha.
point. I mean,
Okay.
I'd made action on it.
Okay. So you
I need more
you know
information.
that time blocking is important, and
Yes.
yet you are what's
Right. Right.
there you go.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to understand
Sure.
the mindset of Pete and where you want to go.
Well,
So
I'm trying to understand the mindset of Pete too.
very good.
Yeah.
So what's next for you, Pete? What's out there 5 years from what do you want to accomplish?
I really say the reason I have always been interested in real estate was making money, not necessarily as an agent or a broker, but
Right.
through investments in real
Right.
estate. And
Okay.
that was the thing that led me to an agent. It's like, I think it's Warren Buffett or somebody said, whatever percentage of millionaires or something was created through real estate.
Gotcha.
So becoming an agent to me was my gateway into investing and making money through real estate, not just necessarily working as an agent. So the book I'm reading right now is about in building wealth through investment properties, through
Gotcha.
rental properties.
Right.
Yep. So that's kind of not taking my focus off of being a realtor, but adding that to it.
Sure.
Taking
Absolutely.
that next
You're in
step.
a position to be able to see everything that comes on the market, whether it's a good
Right.
buy or not. And so,
Right.
you're on that journey.
Mhm.
And so what are your goals as they would pertain to owning real estate? Do you have a number in mind of properties you want to own?
I've tinkered with it. I would love to, within maybe the next 5 years, have 20 properties that I'm
Okay.
holding. And maybe within the next 10 years, seeing exponential growth, because
Right.
with that, you can leverage properties to get more properties.
Right.
Putting that number out there pretty large, but, maybe having 100 properties.
So, if I can speak into that a little
Do
bit.
it. Speak
So
into it.
your
That's what
business
you do.
growth sticks since you do, right? It's right there
Right.
on the wall. It's Bo Law. And so Gary has written a couple of books,
Mhm.
right?
Just a few.
We've got 3 that I can think of right now that I would encourage you that your business growth sticks since you do.
Right.
And you're telling me you want to grow in this area of owning real estate, personal properties, rental properties. He has written a book called The Millionaire Real Estate Investor.
Mm-hmm.
He has kind of co-authored
Flip and hold.
And Hold.
Yep.
Have you ever considered possibly teaching those in the Market Center or having a book club? Because I know there's probably other people in our market
Right.
that would love to be investors,
Mm-hmm.
and having a book club with like-minded people might accelerate your path.
That could be cool. I haven't thought about it, but that would be cool. And again, it adds accountability. That's the thing I need most, Phil,
Right.
is accountability.
Well,
So,
if you would lead
Yeah.
that thing, then that kind of
Right.
puts you in a position where
Yeah, you
it's
have
like
to.
you were a teacher at school.
Right.
You had accountability there,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So you had to do that.
Exactly.
So, Pete, is there anything that I haven't thought to ask you that you would like to volunteer to our agents out there that are new in the business or experienced, and maybe they're on a path, maybe their business isn't up 49% like yours, and
Right.
maybe they're challenged with the pullback or the shift that we're having? Any encouragement, advice, counsel you could give them?
I would say I think a lot of agents get into real estate. They watch HGTV. I joke
Right.
about HGTV all the time. I say it to my clients, it's a lie. It is a lie. It's not reality. Real estate is not what you see in those programs. It's work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of time. Don't treat it like a hobby, because you'll get hobby results.
Right.
Don't treat it like a part-time job, because you'll get part-time results, if
Right.
that.
Right.
It's something you have to be dedicated in. So if you're going to be working a 9 to 5, practice what I preach, right? But time block. How am I going to put in the time needed to be successful at this thing?
Right.
And don't get caught up in all the buying leads online and all that. It is it's a relationship.
That's right.
I even tell my clients, I'm not a salesman. I'm a consultant, and I want people to trust me. That my whole business is built on trust.
That's right.
People trusting me
Right.
to help them either purchase or sell what's most likely their most valuable asset, and presenting myself knowledgeable enough and trustworthy enough to do that. So, and being in relationship with them, not coming off like I'm so hungry, I just need that deal. But then I'm the guy you can trust to help you with that. So it's all about that trust relationship.
Gotcha.
So that new agent, as soon as you become a realtor, I'm convinced that every telemarketer in the world now has your phone number, and they're going to want to sell you this lead or
the shiny, flashy stuff.
Everything you need, Keller Williams has, and technology wise, and just focus on the relationships.
Gotcha.
Focus on that. Talking to people, letting them know you're in business. You can help them.
It's a contact sport, and we have to be in contact with our relationships out there and grow that business. And what I have seen as I've tracked people's career and watched them is that their business grows every year when they are purposeful about growing those relationships and having contact with those people, using databases and scripts and those type of things, and time blocking. So that'll be a thing for you. Before we conclude this, let me ask you one other question that just came to my mind. So you and Jade are working together. How do you balance that so it's not all about real estate?
You mean in certain hours or
I'm
just
just
around
saying,
the clock?
Around the clock, because conversations, hey, did you see that? And it will be just like
real estate can creep into any conversation. I think I do a better job. I might get in trouble here. Love you, honey. I do a better job of shutting down like look at that new house, look at this listing thing, because she'll be laying in bed. Oh, did you see this listing? I was like, yeah, I saw it, whatever. But I do a worse job of shutting down, because I am the agent, of shutting down the communications with clients at certain times, still working that deal at 9:30 at night or at 6:30 in the morning. So it is tough to do. But I think instead of us trying to pull real estate out of personal life, we put more personal life into the real estate time.
Like that. That's very nice.
Because we do work together.
Right.
We're always on the clock. Like I'm almost always on the clock, which I don't really want to be, but I'm also always on family time too.
Right.
She might disagree with that, but we try to strike a balance.
Well, I tell you what, you are striking a balance. You have a lovely family, and I appreciate watching your journey and what all you've been. You've been a faithful man to your family, to this company, and it's been my pleasure to be in business with you. And I look forward to watching you grow, get those investment properties, and we're changing lives and living the dream.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, Pete.
This has been a production of Keller Williams Realty in Flowood, Mississippi, located at 132 Riverview Drive, Suite A. To contact our offices, call us at 601-977-9411.